Let's turn our focus to an issue related to electricity generation on the African continent. And this, of course, while South Africa's power utility Eskom struggles to keep the lights on, with rolling blackouts expected to continue for a while. You saw in the trending topics earlier this morning, stage 8 trending. And this morning we ask, by just perhaps shifting focus and looking at another country on the continent, is Uganda's seemingly successful integrated approach to that country's power supply challenges a possible answer for other struggling economies like South Africa? Now, the East African country is currently in the next phase of a pilot project which has provided knowledge and also evidence on how power utilities and solar off-grid companies can work together to fast-track energy access to unserved communities. Now, there's data available that shows that Umeme, I think that's how you say it, we'll find out, which is Uganda's main grids collaboration is benefiting both the customer and the power utility. So for more on these developments, Sumaya Mahomed is the country manager for Power for All in Uganda and joins us live from Kampala via Zoom. Sumaya, thanks so much for your time and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning and thank you so much for having me.
So let's just get the names correct. How do we say the name of the utility that I just mentioned?
You mentioned it very well. It is called Umeme.
Okay, perfect. So Umeme. So business as usual approach to electrification by the expansion of central grids, as has been done since time immemorial. That obviously will not achieve universal energy access, as we've seen for people in remote and rural areas who are still without electricity. So let's talk to that. The need to create a conducive environment to unlock, of course, opportunities and finances to electrify more people. So what is Uganda currently doing that the rest of us can perhaps learn from?
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd just like to say that Power for All is a global campaign focused on accelerating the end of energy poverty. And one of the campaigns is this integrated energy approach, and that brings together this collaboration between the utility and decentralized renewable energy partners, such as a mini-grid developer and productive use partners. What's so efficient about this partnership is that it leverages the comparative advantages to deliver faster and cheaper access. So it really gives you the benefits of best of both worlds. This will ultimately then result in cheap access to capital and a large customer base, because that is what the utility can offer. But at the same time, by partnering with these decentralized renewable energy partners, they are more technology and data driven, and they are very customer centric approach. By developing this customer's consumption, it can therefore reduce the costs and definitely lead to benefits such as productive use that is definitely needed. Again, these two worlds need to come together and they need to unlock their comparative advantages to definitely unlock the innovation that we're seeing and that is deemed as an integrated approach.
So when it comes to the financing of some of these projects, where in the main does it come from in the Ugandan context?
Right now, energy access is primarily funded through public funds. We all know that. And I think the other challenge is that the utility is also just limited through one set of technology, which is grid extension. So energy access is always going to require public funds. But what we are unlocking with this approach is through working together, you can reduce that upfront capital cost. As I've indicated, the utility is not really very good at supporting the customer by getting a connection and helping that customer really to unlock the power of having access. But if they partner with the decentralized renewable energy companies, that has to really understand the customer and that has to support the customer, we do see that one, we accelerate access. So by accelerating access, you are increasing the number of connections. And if you empower that customer further, you definitely are also going to increase consumption. And that is another key driver within your business model. Now, the capital can be accessed also through, low cost DFIs. And we also see that, again, the utility can use, the balance sheet. Umeme is also one of two utilities on the continent that is profitable. So again, that cheap access to capital is ultimately critical in ensuring that through reducing the upfront capital cost that is required and increasing, that customer's ability to use power productively is where, the secret sauce is within this approach.
So as you've been saying there, Sumaya, you have the utilities and the decentralized renewables who obviously need to work together to end the energy poverty, as they cannot individually meet the SDG 7 vision each on their own. So the need for policy reform that will allow these two systems to work together seamlessly and also to fast track the end of that energy poverty is obviously pivotal.
It is extremely pivotal. And I also just want to say you do need a willing utility, because without both the utility and governments being willing to test new approaches and to create this conducive environment, we are not going to see, the needle shift when it comes to, seeing those numbers increase with access on the continent. So we require an open mind, and it requires a willingness to test innovation and support, the business environment so that it can thrive.
So just looking at, comparisons, if we look at what's happening in South Africa at the moment, there is, of course, a lot of talk, a lot of criticism, and, of course, a lot of encouragement when it comes to the integrated approach to finding an energy solution. But also, one of the issues we are grappling with in South Africa is what is called a just energy transition, and also the question of jobs and whether moving to renewables, for example, will result in job losses. So the potential for creating jobs in all of this, let's talk to that in the Ugandan context.
Thank you so much. There is an opportunity to, upskill people. Within this project, we have seen a significant amount of jobs across the entire value chain. So what do I mean by that? One, the utility is learning a lot about new technology, and even their staff members are starting to appreciate and having a higher understanding of the benefits of utilizing renewable energy technologies. Now, once you empower and diversify someone's capacity and skills, they become a lot more marketable, and they will have access to a lot more opportunities. We also see through our productive use partners, by empowering those small businesses in the communities and giving them the ability to increase their incomes, they are also, creating or being a catalyst to creating jobs that is much needed within the communities. And as all of the businesses starts to, thrive, it will continue to, create jobs. I do think that there needs to be an understanding that there will be a phase of training and skills development that is required, but this can only happen if there's a partnership and an understanding and the support that is enabled between the utilities and the decentralized renewable energy companies. I think South Africa really needs to just embrace it. There needs to be a lot more work that needs to be done. I think the IPP program is excellent, but what can the municipalities do? What can we really do within, our townships to really empower the people and help them to, learn a new skill? Can they become installers? Most definitely. Can they set up small businesses so they can sell, solar home systems? There's a lot of opportunities within the sector. I'm going to come back to the point, are we willing to learn and are we willing to collaborate with one another?
And I think that is the key here, Sumaya. So just to bottom line it, what would you say are the key points of learning that we as South Africa can take from what is being done in Uganda?
Willingness to learn and openness to test new approaches and to get that support from the policy stakeholders so that you can test new approaches and then embed it within policy. Without that openness and that political will, it's just not going to shift the needle.
Well, Sumaya Mahomed, thanks so much for speaking to us this morning. Sumaya is the country manager for Power for All in Uganda and was speaking to us there live from Kampala via Zoom.